In the heart of Ohio, in the 1830s, there lived a man named Elijah Freeman. Most townsfolk knew him as a simple carpenter, a humble craftsman whose hands shaped the wooden beams and tables that furnished the homes of his neighbors. But behind the quiet facade of sawdust and hammering, Elijah harbored a secret that could have cost him his life. He was a key figure in the Underground Railroad, the network of brave souls who risked everything to help enslaved people escape to freedom. Elijah's journey into this dangerous world began when a weary family arrived at his doorstep on a stormy night. The Rayners, mother, father, and 2 children, were fleeing the brutal conditions of a plantation in Kentucky. Elijah remembered the fear in their eyes, the quiet pleading of the children, and the unspoken hope that someone, somewhere, would guide them to safety. Without hesitation, he offered them shelter, knowing that even a small mistake could alert bounty hunters. His home, a modest 2-story house surrounded by towering oaks, became a sanctuary. He hid the Rayners in the attic, covering the floor with loose planks to create a secret compartment. Every night, he would bring food up quietly, whisper words of reassurance, and plan the next steps. The fear was constant. If anyone discovered them, Elijah would not only face imprisonment but also a threat to his own life. Yet he persevered, driven by a deep belief in justice and humanity. Elijah had connections throughout the region, other brave souls who provided safe houses, food, and guidance. Each journey northward was perilous. They traveled at night, hiding in forests, wading through cold rivers, and navigating without maps. Word of mouth was the only communication method. One wrong signal could lead to capture. On more than one occasion, Elijah narrowly avoided detection by slave catchers who prowled the area like predators. He learned to trust his instincts and remain calm under pressure, often putting his own safety second. One of the most daring moments of Elijah's work came during the winter of 1838. A group of 12 escapees, including several children, arrived from Kentucky. The weather was merciless, with snow piling high and temperatures plunging below freezing. Elijah knew that transporting them immediately could be fatal, but staying put carried equal risk. The plantation owners had offered a bounty, and local informants were always watching. In a bold move, he devised a plan that relied on subterfuge and ingenuity. Elijah crafted false identities for the group, providing them with forged travel documents and instructions for taking a hidden route along backroads that most settlers ignored. He coordinated with a network of Quaker families and abolitionists who were committed to the cause. On a moonless night, they began their journey. Elijah walked alongside them for miles, guiding them through thick forests and across icy streams. Several times, they encountered patrols, but Elijah's quick thinking, switching paths, hiding in dense thickets, and using decoys, kept them safe. The most tense moment came when a patrol spotted them from a distance. Elijah instructed the group to hide under a frozen creek bed, covering themselves with branches and snow. Hours passed as he held back panic, praying silently for their safety. When the patrol finally moved on, Elijah led the exhausted travelers to the next safe house. By the time they reached the freedom of northern Ohio, many of them could hardly walk, but the tears of relief in their eyes made every risk worthwhile. Elijah's heroism did not stop at transportation. He also taught literacy and practical skills to those he helped, understanding that freedom without education and opportunity would be hollow. He became a quiet mentor, encouraging self-reliance and resilience. Though the nation would later celebrate more famous figures, such as Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass, Elijah's contributions remained largely unrecognized, his name absent from most historical accounts. After decades of clandestine activity, Elijah lived to see the abolition of slavery. He never sought fame or reward, only the quiet satisfaction of knowing he had changed lives for the better. When asked about his actions in later years, he would simply say, "I did what anyone with a heart would do." Freedom is not just a word, it's a duty. Today, walking through that same Ohio town, few remember the man who risked everything to help strangers escape oppression. But if you look closely, the old carpenter's house still stands, a silent monument to courage and compassion. The story of Elijah Freeman reminds us that heroism often resides not in headlines or statues, but in the quiet, courageous choices of ordinary people.